the Lord showed me that the grind is actually a stronghold. That sounds so biblical, doesn't it? Well, it is. If you look at like the Old Testament when they're talking about strongholds, it's almost like a fortress, a place where you can escape. Basically, when you're in the fortress, you're protected from what's outside. But Paul in Corinthians, when he's talking about a stronghold, it's like a mindset, it's an attitude. But what makes it that stronghold is like it is so embedded. It's like you have physical walls wrapped around this mindset of making it happen and doing things in your own strength. It's a stronghold. I'm going to read this because I saw this and I was like, I just saw this just a few weeks ago. Andy said yesterday how the tools of my trade are worship in my hands. You remember that? That was so good. If you didn't write that down, you should have. The tools of my trade are worship in my hands. Listen to this. So I'm going to read it the way that you're probably familiar with it, and then I'm going to read it another way, in another translation. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 3 through 5. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war according to the flesh, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God for pulling down strongholds, like the grind, casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. But check this out. This is 2 Corinthians, same scripture, but I'm going to go a little bit further at 3 to 6. And this is in the Message translation. The Message translation will mess you all kinds of up sometimes. And it's plain language. This is what it says. The world is unprincipled. It's dog eat dog out there. The world doesn't fight fair, but we don't live or fight our battles that way, never have, and never will. The tools of our trade aren't for marketing or manipulation, but they are for demolishing that entire massively corrupt culture. We use our powerful God tools for smashing warped philosophies, tearing down barriers erected against the truth of God, fitting every loose thought and emotion and impulse into the structure of life shaped by Christ. Our tools, I'm not even done yet. Is that good? Our tools are ready at hand for clearing the ground of every obstruction and building lives of obedience into maturity. Isn't that good? The tools of our trade. So here we are talking about the grind as a stronghold and it being this mindset with these walls all around it, but we have the power of Christ within us to demolish it, right? And I think about this whole idea of this stronghold of the grind and how the mindset of doing things in our own strength primarily actually exalts itself against the knowledge of Christ and the nature of who he is. So when we work that way, whether it's intentional, it's conscious, it's subconscious, whatever, when we work that way, we're working in a way with an attitude and a mindset that actually goes anti-Jesus Christ.